Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Wars in the Stars, episode number 70. I've got to add that in the title because I didn't do that. Uh, yeah, we are back. Only 5 days off because we did a show Friday, obviously, for Kenobi. It's our 70th episode today. We got a Kenobi episode 3 review and a Miss Marvel preview. I know that show is coming out. I almost forgot.
It's crazy.
Yeah. So
Also,
Alex,
before we go, look at the name of the thumbnail.
I used Star Trek. Really. Interesting.
Sorry. What were you asking?
I was just asking how's it going.
Sorry. It's going fine. I've had a bit of a sombersome week. I don't even know the word. Had a bit of a week. Had some family members pass away in a few days span, but apart from that, I was eating good for my 14 hours sleep that I had to wake up to Kenobi.
Yeah, this guy slept for 14 hours. 14 hours. That's crazy.
I don't even know how I did it.
I don't know how that's possible, but you did it. You managed to do it.
Again, I don't know how because I haven't done that in like literally ever.
I actually would have been like pissed at myself if I did that.
Dude, I like woke up and I was just so confused. I was like, what happened?
I would have just been angry at myself. Would have been like, how do you do this?
I don't know.
I graduate tomorrow. I have my graduation tomorrow, so that is very exciting. I have a long day. So we have graduation. I'm going out to eat with my family, and then I go back to school. And they take us to a place for project graduation, it's called. So it's basically to make sure kids, don't drink that night or don't die their night of their graduation, do something stupid. So it's a fun thing as a class. And we get to go to my future college. That's where they're doing it. That's where it's being hosted. So I get to stay there the whole night. Like you stay up the whole night. So I'm going to have to stay up from I'm basically have to stay up for 24 hours. I've kind of mentally prepared myself for that. And then I have a game the next day. So we'll see how that goes. It's a scrimmage, so I don't know if it's going to happen. It's supposed to rain where we are. So who knows? So pretty exciting times for me. But, I mean, enough of that. Let's get right into it, man.
Kenobi!
That was crazy. That was nuts. By the way, Disney Plus lightsabers are the best, bro. The lightsabers just look really good. They pop.
I will say the combat, it's not what it once was.
No, it was. Well, here's the thing. How do you get bitched around like that, bro? Vader just used one hand, bro.
I mean, I'll say this. This episode redefined the Force, in my opinion. Like, I don't think I've ever seen someone so dominant like that.
Yes. Like, Obi-Wan got dominated. And it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
This episode was it was so good. I saw like, I'm going to just jump around here for a sec. But you know that thing before they get onto the transit or that plate thing, what's his name? Frick? Or whatever?
Yeah, Freck. Yeah, Freck.
Freck. And then I didn't even piece together what Obi-Wan was looking at. The guy in the robe was Anakin. I didn't even like piece it together. That's what he was seeing. I was like, is that the guy they're going there for? And I was like, it's an odd place to have a meetup in just the middle of the
on a cliff.
Whatever. I was like, wait, why aren't they going to him? And then I went on Twitter like an hour ago, and they zoomed in, and it was Hayden Christensen's face. And I was like,
oh. You couldn't tell that was him right away just by his posture, just by the way he stood like this?
No.
Like the most Anakin pose ever? This.
I didn't piece it together. I was like, that was so random. Okay.
Wait, and then when the vision ended, you were just like, oh, did the dude just disappear or something? Like, what did you think?
Yeah, I was like, that was just so unnecessarily random. whatever. Let's see how.
I
Let's
would
see
have
how it
laughed so
goes.
much. I would have laughed so much if you came on this podcast and the first thing you said was, "Who was that random dude Obi-Wan
I
just saw,
know.
bro?"
I mean, I found out. Okay, I found out. I
You
found
did
out.
find out. That was Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. That was really good.
I
Uh,
know.
but the fight itself, I mean, Obi-Wan, like, can we even call it a fight? Like, that man just got
No.
dominated.
And literally though, I'll say this: I did it when during No Way Home when the Andrew Garfield pose when he was singing like there. As soon as his thing when he pushed him back, I was like, "Oh my god, it
Right.
was the League! The League is
Yes.
true!"
It was
I
the
was
leak.
so
I knew right
excited.
away, bro. I'm looking at the background. I'm like, oh, that leak was real, wasn't it?
Yes, 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 yes.
Bro, he uses one hand, bro. You
One
know when Vader
hand.
uses one hand, you're getting like, bro, he's treated Obi-Wan like a child right now. That was
Yeah.
crazy.
I
And you
mean,
just
yeah, I find it so weird though because in A New Hope, he's like scared of Obi-Wan when they meet again. So something has to happen in this second
right. Well,
confrontation
we know
where
they're gonna fight
yes,
again.
we know because this again, this wasn't even a fight. This was what honestly happened in Jedi Fallen Order.
Right.
Just you basically running away. Like there's no fighting him right now.
No, no. Basically,
Especially after what we
basically,
see him
Vader's
like.
like, call me daddy now. Just call
Yes,
me dad.
literally. Like especially how we see him going through like the neighborhood or whatever, the
The
streets,
village.
like
Oh my god.
dragging people around. He literally just some random civilian was looking at him and he was just like, you've angered me. I don't know why you have, but no,
Bro,
you don't.
he snapped the son's neck, bro. It's the craziest thing. He just does this.
Oh,
Snaps his neck, bro. That's a new force move unlocked. I've never seen him do that. I'm like, okay, this dude's just a menace.
yeah. I
And
mean,
I also love the
that's
little attention to detail with the fifth brother. Like the fifth brother takes a step back when he gets in, bro. Just the little attention to detail was perfect.
yeah. And then like I again, we're gonna be all over the place. But then the episode ending with Leia getting captured by Reva. It's very bizarre. Um, don't know how I feel about her getting captured because again, I feel like stuff like this would have been very important to talk about in the original trilogy. Like,
Well,
oh yeah, are we sure we're not being boarded by inquisitors?
well, the other problem is like when Leia messages Obi-Wan, it's like she's never met him. But
Yes, and like maybe the entire time I was thinking maybe he's gonna do something like he's gonna do a Jedi mind trick on her, like making her forget the last like month.
no way he could do that now.
Yeah, I just
But I thought they were going to get away with saying, oh, he just called himself Ben the whole time. But there's been multiple people now who have called him
called him
Obi-Wan.
Obi-Wan, yeah, in front of her.
Right. So,
And so
like,
it's like I feel like what would have been a more impactful message is him saying, "Oh, you served my father in the Clone Wars," which he never did. He fought with him, saved him
right.
actually.
Yeah.
Would have been, "Oh, you rescued me 9 years ago."
But we don't have that hindsight anymore. And plus, people were saying, well, Leia could have forgot it. I don't know if
No,
Leia would forget about the first time she ever left the planet and saw a dude in a black suit strangling people. I don't think she'd forget about that.
or being captured or kidnapped twice,
Correct. Correct.
or
I don't think she would forget that.
presumably kidnapped twice, because
Right.
God knows Reva has to go on that chase against her. She's gonna be going against the Flash, bro.
Yeah,
Her
that's
part,
tough.
her
That's tough.
parkour cannot save her in that realm.
That's tough. But to go back to the whole confrontation, um, I think it's really well executed and it makes a lot of sense to me, right? Obviously, Obi-Wan's a broken man. Like he's so reluctant to even pull the lightsaber out. You could tell even like the lightsaber's heavy to him. He uses two hands. If you notice, Obi-Wan usually doesn't use two hands sometimes.
Yeah,
His pose is different. His pose, he doesn't do the confident, the little twirl thing he does, right? With the two fingers out.
yeah,
He has it in front of him. He's almost like the old Ben we see in A New Hope. Obviously, he hasn't used it in 10 years. Like, this made a lot of sense to me. A guy who's been hating Obi-Wan for 10 years straight now, just
yeah.
fixated on him, who's been mastering himself in the dark side arts, versus a guy who's been on a desert planet for 10 years doing nothing, presumably cut off from the Force.
Mm.
I mean, it made sense. It was really well executed. I mean, Obi-Wan was just trying to run away. He's like, nah, I'm not doing this. He's like, nope.
Yeah. I also just like I want to make it a mention that like for being cut off from the Force for so long, I mean, he did pretty well. I mean, he wasn't no episode 3 Obi-Wan, but I mean, he was able to like keep evading Vader. Now granted, was this Vader trying? No. But I want to give a big thing. Look at Cal Kestis. He was cut off for 5 years, and discovering the Force was like discovering everything. Like he was learning
Right,
it for the first time.
right.
Obi-Wan was able to pretty naturally tap into it
Yep.
once he got into it. But I think just the way this episode's ended, just like the thing, like you should have killed me when you had the chance. It's
Oh,
it was weird because I couldn't hear James Earl Jones saying that. I could only hear Hayden Christensen saying that. And
mm,
something that if I could change anything about this series is whenever he is talking to Obi-Wan, I wish they would have spliced in and out of like put together Hayden and James together, kind of overlapping each other.
yeah, that would
Like
have been a really good idea.
like have it be like Anakin is talking to him, but Vader's talking to him also. It was just so crazy just seeing Obi-Wan manhandled like that. It was just so
I mean, we've seen
crazy.
Obi-Wan fight so many times in the canon. Like I mean, he's fought Maul multiple times. He fought Anakin on Mustafar. I mean, he's fought some of the most powerful Force users in canon, and he got slapped. It just shows you how powerful Vader is at this time, even without him trying, bro.
Yeah,
Vader like can't even lift his arms above his shoulders, and he just
yeah. I
ugh,
mean,
ugh.
again, it's the honestly like for me, it was the just you could just tell who was more attuned with the Force versus who wasn't. I mean, we literally see Vader walking around doing no hand gestures or anything, just choking people out. Just again, no hand gestures, just walk by them and choke someone out.
He dragged that poor lady, bro. Like the
By
whole
like, if you think about it, the Force is just basically an extension, like what Miss Marvel connecting to Miss Marvel.
ah.
Like you got to think it's basically just him extending his physical self out. You got to think that man was basically just dragging a poor, maybe like middle aged old lady just by her throat on the ground.
Did care.
And didn't care. And it's just to draw Obi-Wan out. Now I will say, if Obi-Wan knew that he wasn't going to be up to fight him, I find it weird that he abandoned Leia. And then Tala, or whatever her name is, was just like, yes, let me abandon a 9-year-old or 10-year-old girl.
Hey,
Oh,
bro,
you can run really fast? Run that way.
bro, listen. To be fair, Leia has been the most
She's
intelligent character in this series at some
she's
points.
she's the Flash. She's the
Um,
Flash and she's Tony Stark. Like smart, rich, fast. 3 traits you need if you're
but
Star
I really love. My thing is like I didn't I saw somebody like upset that like there wasn't as much emotion they felt like with the fight, but I feel
Oh,
like Obi-Wan was so shocked. Like he
yes.
didn't even know what to say. He was just like his eyes were like it's like what am I looking at?
I
This is
mean, literally,
horrifying.
if like just looking up pictures for the thumbnail, anytime you see his face with his lightsaber on, his eyes look like he's seeing a ghost. It's because he
Yes.
basically is.
Yes. Well, he's also seeing a terrifying monster. Imagine seeing your kid and then
Hmm.
you lose your kid and then 10 years later he's a robot
Yeah,
that's trying to kill you. That's basically Obi-Wan, okay?
yeah,
That's him. And I love the line says, "What have you become?" And he goes,
yeah.
"I am what you trained me to be or what I am
What you made me?
I am what you made me." Phew.
It's just like,
What a
dude,
line.
Vader, the CEO of Quips, like him and Spider Man are getting along right now. Like, it's so crazy because it's just like it's again, it doesn't feel like something that Vader would say that. It feels like something Anakin would say. And I just think the entire time Vader's going through the village. killing the civilians. It's not to try to lure Obi-Wan out. It's to try to connect to him, try to get him to reveal himself,
Right.
to try to get him to like show his presence is near. And I
But
just
when Obi-Wan senses Vader and he almost falls to the ground, like
yes,
the connection they have is still very strong.
I
It's still
just
very strong.
I love that it's like even though they have a presence, he can't sense him entering the planet. It's right when he enters the village. You feel you can feel it's him. You don't even have to feel that Reva's nearby, any of the Inquisitors are nearby. You can just feel he's nearby.
Right.
And Jen, also I will say it was super weird seeing Vader sit on his throne. It didn't look like he fit in it. I kept
I
looking
will
at it.
say the VFX was not great.
No, there is some wonky CGI in this show, but it's I mean it's Star Wars and CGI.
I
It's
mean,
like
it's also we also have to put in perspective the stuff they do with the TV budget is crazy. It's not gonna look
yes.
movie quality.
I
I mean,
mean you
this
got
show
it
looks.
like yeah, it's
I think
crazy.
The Mandalorian still does a better job with the volume. I think they've done a better job with
Yeah.
that. I don't think the show's done a. I mean, it's done a good job, but like when I'm looking at Vader's castle, I'm like, bro,
Ooh.
this just looks like
It's
it's filmed on a green screen. What is happening? This looks like
especially it's his throne. I think his throne might have been a physical thing, but his legs looked way too big to be sitting in it. I can't. I look at his legs. I was like, this man's dummy thick. Like Obi-Wan gave this man leg enhancers. Like, boof. His legs legit looked like this big in the throne. Like one leg, and then the throne was like this big.
yeah. I don't know why he had such a tiny throw. It just in the background of it was like, what?
Yes, the background looked drawn. Like someone drew it.
Like what is?
It
What
was
am I looking
crazy.
at?
I
It was
know.
not good. It was not good. It was one of the worst shot.
Mm.
I mean, it's not. It did take away my enjoyment. That was my one
No,
big
no, no,
complaint.
yeah.
Was like that looked horrible. I
Uh,
understand. Listen,
yeah, and I gotta say also, like the Inquisitors were much better in this episode. I really liked them. They weren't overly used, but I really liked their banter between each other of like, oh, I'm gonna get what I deserve. And Reva's
I've
like,
actually liked the fifth brother a lot more on the show. I think
yes,
Son Kane has
he's
done a great job with him.
10 times better than his Rebels incarnation. Anytime that he was in Rebels, that man was just shown to be the most incompetent person ever. So
Right.
I would like to know what happens that makes him so stupid. Anytime he's in Rebels, bro, he gets just slapped around by everybody. He gets literally told that he's like a nothing in the show.
Bro, and he's literally like the second in line to become the Grand Inquisitor. I'm like, bro, what happened to you within
Yes.
these last 5 years?
Now, granted, I think it's pretty. I think the story's kind of unfortunately laid itself out with the mystery of what happened to the Grand Inquisitor. I think it's going to be revealed that before Vader kills Reva, the Grand Inquisitor is going to walk out, dramatic entrance and all, and be like, "Still alive."
I mean, Palmans have two stomachs, man. So,
Yeah. So I think unfortunately they've written it out like, "Oh, if you get him, you're going to be the next Grand
well,
Inquisitor."
it's like, I mean, just for the general audience, like I know my parents are like, oh, they're really interested in this Reva subplot, but it's like,
And
I'm
for
not gonna
me,
say anything, but I
yeah,
kind of know where
but
this goes.
it sucks because if you know, then you know what's gonna happen. You know he's gonna live, and then I think it's weird, okay? Because we talk about Disney's gonna decanonize this and Disney's gonna decanonize that. It's weird how much people aren't saying that about Rebels. It actually feels like the first time the Star Wars
The
fandom.
opposite has happened.
It literally feels like for the first time the Star Wars fandom has actually used our brains. They're like, oh, he's gonna survive. I mean, we know he's alive later.
Right,
And
right.
it's
Like,
so crazy. It's like, oh my god, some of the Star Wars fans actually have brains and can use them. I know, I'm being such a dick to Star Wars fans right now, but I mean, trust me, with how they've been treating Moses Ingram lately, I don't
that
got
is
any rem-
facts.
I don't got any remorse to how you people act.
I mean, it's a very small, minute amount of the fandom, but still, what the
And also, I
heck?
gotta say, like on that topic of Moses and whatnot, I've actually loved Star Wars' response to everything. I've
I have
loved
to. I have to. I think it's been. I think it's set a good
it.
precedent.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because I wish we would have got this during the Force Awakens time with
Right.
John and then with Kelly, and during the Last Jedi. But I think if this is what they're gonna start going with forward, then like go off Star Wars. I mean, do it,
Right.
do it, do it, do it.
I what I really appreciated was Ewan's message. I really
Yes,
appreciated Ewan McGregor's message. Obviously, being thanking us fans for making Obi-Wan Kenobi the most watched premiere on Disney Plus, which is massive because it topped The Mandalorian and um,
Loki.
all the other Marvel stuff. Especially topping The Mandalorian. It's
Yeah,
crazy. The Mandalorian had a massive premiere.
especially for
Uh,
season 2 also.
right. And I think the show's just gonna break all the records it has, and it
Yeah,
should.
yeah,
Um,
as it should.
but Ewan's message, it reigns so true, and it's very weird. Some people online are like, "Oh, we're criticizing the character. We're not being like racist." Like, well, we're not talking about you then.
Yeah,
Relevancy,
and the big thing, because I don't want to stay on this for too long. This
right,
breeds negative conversation. If you were offended by the thing about them saying there's 20 million sentient species in the galaxy, and so just don't choose to be racist. If you were connecting the dots that they were talking about you because you didn't like Riva, maybe it's time to take a little bit of a soul search and you need to go find yourself.
bro. We were literally just talking about the people that were called under the N word in our DMs. Like, yes, that's who we're talking about, not the
Yeah,
person who said,
if
"Oh, I don't
yeah,
like the character." That's not who
yeah,
we're talking about.
yeah, and if you connected those dots, then that says more about you than it does Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. Um, But back to I just want to keep talking about Vader because I think
I
this is one
know.
of his better incarnations. I think this is one of his better stories. I'm
Yes.
just as like he comes in and he's always a presence, right? In Rogue One when he comes in that hallway scene is nuts. It's still one of my favorite Star Wars moments. Still my favorite Star Wars theater experience. That was I will never forget. I was there on a Saturday of opening
Yeah.
weekend and I'm like,
Yep.
what the what?
It was my
What?
first. It was my first time going to a midnight screening of a movie, like
Was like
on the Friday that it came out.
was like what?
I know it was crazy. I would say that would have to go in my like top 3 Star Wars moments.
But this, bro, when you see him come in the village, I'm like, oh
Mm.
man,
And
oh
yes,
man.
just seeing him walk through, just walking up to Kenobi from the darkness, and you just see the few lights on his chest. You're just like, oh my god, shit's about to go down. I was so happy, by the way, that they didn't leave it on like a cliffhanger, like have Kenobi and him stand off
Right,
and then go, oh, we're going to see it in episode 4. No, I like
right.
that. That was like, and towards the end of the episode, more towards the middle half. And they were like, no, you get to see it. Big call out to another character of Quinlan Voss.
Bro, I went nuts. I was like, bro, Quinlan? No
I
way.
I know. So I wonder, maybe do you think it's going to be Quinlan and Obi-Wan versus Vader? And then we might have to see the unfortunates of Quinlan Voss biting the dust.
I don't think we'll see Quinlan Voss and Kenobi, but
Why?
I think
But they're best friends. Or not best
but
friends, but they're friends.
they're friends. But I think it's very weird that he said his name and like most people don't know who Quinlan Voss is. They're like, what? What?
Hey, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't.
Um, I think they might be doing something with Quinlan
Maybe. I
in a
mean,
another project. Maybe Tales of the Jedi.
hmm, I don't know. I don't know, because I think Tales of the Jedi, you got to think how many Jedi we got. If they're going to go with the precedent that's going to be a 6-episode season, 3 per Jedi, that's going to be a long ass show. Like, that's going to be a long show. 80 seasons.
Right. Um. Yeah. It was very good. I thought it was well executed. And then the thing Quinlan wrote about the best way to see is with your eyes shut. And that's the way. I thought that was very well done. I was like, did Quinlan ever say that in the Clone Wars? I was like, do I have to go back and watch his episodes now? Um, I might have to now because he actually might be in the show. But I thought it was a very nice little Easter egg that like he's still out there. About 10 years past the time of the Empire. I mean, there was a lot of good like little Easter eggs like that in this episode. The confirmation that Obi-Wan, I mean, or not the confirmation, the first time ever we heard that Obi-Wan has a sibling,
Yeah,
a brother. I'm very curious about what happened to him. I know it'll probably be in a book or comic way down the
maybe.
line,
Yeah,
but I'm very curious, like what ever happened.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I want to know what happened to his family. We know he's from
Right,
Stew John.
right.
Maybe his brother became an imperial officer or something.
That would be interesting. Yeah.
Something. Maybe like um maybe we see him later on or something. Maybe like Vader. Maybe because we know Vader lets Obi-Wan escape. So maybe
Which, if I'm being honest with you, just walk through the fire, man.
literally, here's the thing. I think one of the most badass shots from episode 9 was Kylo walking through the water. You're just
Right.
like, especially like put yourself in the perspective of like when you're there in the theater, you're just like, "Oh my god, where'd Kylo go? He got like swept away." And then he walks through badass, flips his lightsaber. Then just think cuz Kylo, if you think about it, is a big flip to Vader, especially look at the sequels. The third fight happens on a water planet versus a lava planet. Think about that. We see Vader walk through the fire, and we see Kylo years later walk through the water.
And like nothing would happen to Vader. He has a flame.
Now he has a flameproof suit.
Right.
And now, granted, his lungs would probably get like
Oh, not
destroyed.
good. Not good.
Destroyed.
Not good.
He would probably walk out, fall to his knee, going. He'd probably call for a stormtrooper. Do you have my inhaler? Oh shit! Where'd you go? Also, I will say, I know I'm being nitpicky. I don't like Vader's suit in this series. I don't like how it looks. I think he looks very small in this series, and
Really?
I think the only reason he looks big is because the camera pans from underneath him. But I think he looks artificially big because of the camera movement.
Well, it's also hated in the suit. So
I know.
it's not
Put
like a
put him on stilts. Like I don't know. Like I don't know if it's how the suit is textured or whatnot. I don't like the helmet design either. I feel like it tried to take like a oh, let's take a Rogue One, let's take the Rebels, and then let's take the Revenge of the Sith model and try to maybe put it in
I
one.
felt with the helmet, I felt a lot of Revenge of the Sith.
It looked too small.
I
Maybe
felt
that's
a lot of the Revenge of the Sith, and then with the cape, I always liked the cape in front. I never liked seeing his. We see his shoulder. I can look at it right now actually because
yeah.
his cape's not. I like when his cape covers more.
Yes, like when it covers his shoulders, like the Rogue One and A New
I
Hope
mean,
look.
this is still terrifying. I'm staring at a picture right now, and it still
Yes.
terrifies me. But it's like it feels very Revenge of the Sith with the helmet. I thought it was gonna be more Rogue One. But I'm
Yeah.
fine with it. I mean, the suit still looks great to me, but we also have to remember it's not a movie budget, so
Yes.
it's gonna look a little different.
Now, granted, we have to say that with things like movie budgets, She-Hulk is a great example. If they already have movie props, we know they're going to use them. Like the Ronin suit from Hawkeye
Right,
is the Ronin suit that they used on Avengers Endgame. We
right,
know that the Professor Hulk look is the exact same asset from Avengers Endgame.
right.
So we have to know that. So yes, you could bring in, oh, then why didn't they just use the Rogue One suit? It wouldn't have fit Hayden. And you have to think Vader went through probably like 80 different suits of armor before he died.
Correct.
Like that man was constantly tinkering with his suit. So like, does it bother me how the suit looks? Did it take me out of it? No. Kind of just looking back, it's just like, oh, I wish his suit was taller. I kind of agree with you. I wish his cape covered more of his shoulders.
Yeah, it just looks too. I know it
Yeah.
sounds too naked. I just, I
Yeah.
But I don't mind it. I still like. I was absolutely.
Yeah.
It felt like a horror film. Like it felt like I was.
Yes.
The slasher was coming out every time. Like the
Nine,
slash was
two,
coming out.
2077, baby. I'm gonna make a Darth Vader horror movie. Like, I mean, it's crazy though because like he would fit as a perfect horror villain.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect. And that's why I think if we do, because Hayden Christensen said that he wanted to do a spin-off show with Vader.
I don't want it.
Make it a horror show, please. I will say this. I spoke about this when we talked about Rebels. His voice in the series is so good.
Yeah, James. This is James Earl Jones is fantastic.
I
mean,
think,
he's just he
yeah.
is Vader. I mean, it's gonna suck the day that man dies because that's Vader.
Yeah.
Anytime anybody else does Vader, I'm like, that's not Vader. I mean,
No,
people
I
do
was,
good,
yeah.
but I always feel James Earl
Yes.
Jones is the best forever. Like
Yeah.
the guy who does it in Rebels.
That's James Earl Jones.
It is. I thought it was somebody different.
He sounds different, doesn't he? He sounds like he's talking like Vader always sounds like he's talking from his like diaphragm down here.
Mm-hmm.
The Rebels, he sounds like he's talking from his like he's little Annie talking, like he's up here. And I was going to say he sounds so different, and I don't know if I
He
like
sounds
that.
much more frightening and better. I would
He
say.
does. He sounds like Episode 4 Vader. Like compare his voice from Episode 4 to 5 to 6 to 3 to Rogue One to this series.
I felt
different.
a lot more. I felt a lot more Rogue One with this one though too.
No,
Obviously.
I felt a mix of Rogue One and I felt a mix of Empire Strikes Back. Like mix them together and you get this exact one. Because in Rogue One, he has the Rebels voice where it's a bit higher pitched.
Yep.
But then I also felt like when he was talking to Obi-Wan, it felt darker. Like it felt like that Empire Strikes Back, like down there talking.
Cut the run, Obi-Wan. Yeah.
I know. I also like that he mirrored what Reva said to him. Very creepy. Very creepy. I'm trying to think.
How long do you think he had? How long do you think he had the fire thing planned? That dude was planning.
Oh my gosh! When he arrived on the planet, he set that up. When he arrived on the planet, he was like, "You know what? This guy is the king of like sass and over dramatic. I'll show you over dramatic.
I'm gonna burn you like you burned me."
He was fully engulfed in the flames, and I like how only the side of him was burned. I was like, hold up, that man should be bald and burned alive right now.
Nope,
like,
still has the mullet, still has the flow,
still has the face. I mean, his clothes, but Drew, his clothes were burned.
Right.
Big damage right there. So I'll say this. I feel like they're also going to go the very cheap route. Oh, we're going to get him a back the tank.
Hey, does that mean flashbacks?
I guess we're going to have to because, I mean, you got to think, like, we're probably going to get flashbacks with Obi-Wan while we're trying to figure out what's going to happen with Leia. I mean, either she's going to outrun Reva, yeah, or something's got to happen.
So, I also like this little attention to detail. When Obi-Wan screams in the fire, it sounds a lot like Anakin screamed at the end of Episode 3. It was a really nice attention to detail that I really liked.
Mm-hmm.
And Vader is a petty king for that. He's an absolutely petty king for that.
Yes.
And then, but bro, why did you have this? I mean, it's a thing in Star Wars where like the villain is stupid sometimes. Why didn't you just grab him yourself? Why did you have the stormtrooper do the job for you, man?
Literally, you just showed that you can like pick him up.
Why and then stop the fire, bro. He just stopped the fire. Just stop.
Yeah. Like, why not just pick him up and then bring him to you? And then also, I like how that one Tala girl shoots the trooper, and then all the stormtroopers look, they're like, oh. And then Vader is just like, okay, let me contemplate. Okay, he can escape. I like how he he lets the droid pick up or attend to Obi-Wan.
He sees him. He's literally
He's just like, what do I do here? I didn't think this far in advance. Oh well, we'll figure it out some other time.
But to be fair, Obi-Wan was. I mean, he wasn't trying to kill Obi-Wan. He was just trying to, like he said, make him suffer.
Yeah.
He's. I mean, it's very similar to what Maul tried to do in the Clone Wars. Like Maul's like, I'm not gonna let just like kill you. I'm gonna like make you. I'm gonna cut you as much as I possibly can until you die.
Yeah.
That's very much what Vader wanted to do here. He wanted to burn him. He wanted to take him back, probably torture him, and then kill him.
I like
Yeah,
how I love how happy you just said that. And then kill him.
yeah, and then just kill him. Just kill him. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I very well executed. I thought I didn't have a problem with it.
I gotta
I
say,
think
by
the
the way,
second fight will be much more emotional, though.
I hope the saber combat's better.
Yo, Obi
uh,
Wan needs a little Rocky montage, bro, with the lightsaber, man.
yes, just like what we're gonna get in Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah,
From dad bod to somewhat Jedi bod.
yeah, yeah, bro. He
It's
still has the hair thing, though. Man, this guy has had a mullet. He went back to the mullet now, and then like I love how his hair is just like in his face,
yes, it's
and then
I will say,
he does the
um,
hair flip.
like Leia in the series, she is just so smart. Like
I will
she,
also say I think it's the best Leia story we've gotten.
by far. Now, granted, I will say Rise of Skywalker didn't really have a chance with the
Right,
unfortunate of her passing. We know that was going to be the Leia movie,
right, correct.
but this story with Leia is just phenomenal. I mean, she's able to easily deduce that Obi-Wan knows her father and her mother.
Yep.
Um, and it's crazy. It's also weird that like Bale had never talked to Leia about those things. I mean, granted, you'd have to imagine why not, but like why at
Yeah.
least not talk about Padme? But yeah, I definitely think episode 4. If we're gonna go into early predictions for episode 4, I think we're gonna get him, unfortunately, in a back to tank.
Hmm.
Um, something's gonna have to happen with Leia.
So
And it's just gonna be a flashback episode. Kind of be what maybe WandaVision episode 4 was. Kind of just like an outside the box or an outside of the bubble fill-in.
so I think episode 4 we'll see Obi-Wan go into Jabim or Jabim. Is that what it is? Jabim, right?
Something.
Jabim. And he'll meet the rebels there, and presumably he's going to meet some other Jedi or Force sensitives because
Quinlan Ross.
maybe because Tala talks about the fact that there have been a lot of Jedi that go through there and a lot of Force sensitives. Obviously, that's picking up on a storyline. I know it's in the show later down the line, but Rebels, right? Ezra and Kanan, I believe, a couple of times have to rescue Force sensitives, right? Or at
Yeah.
least once that I know of.
Yeah. In season 2, yeah.
So that's obviously a big thing, and that obviously makes sense to me because, like, one of the big questions I have is like, there's so many Force sensitives out there. What did the Empire do? They
Yeah.
had the Inquisitors kill them, obviously. So, kind of get to seeing that now would be cool. That
Yeah.
is your cat. I heard.
Yeah.
Was that your cat?
She's back to being horny again. I'm so
Okay,
sorry.
it's okay. It's
You
fine.
you would thought her having her second. Mm, you mm, you would have thought her having 3 more babies would have persuaded her that you would have you would have thought her having 3 more babies. Okay, I think she's done. You would have thought her having 3 more babies would have persuaded her did not want to be horny anymore. What's crazy is that all of our male cats are fixed. Like, none of them can have sex if they wanted to. So, okay. Now that we're done with the cat, because I think she's done now. Fuck, where even were we?
What's gonna happen in episode 4?
Oh, I think we're gonna have to get some other Jedi in the series.
I'd love it to be Quinlan Voss.
Quinlan or Kestis.
Hmm.
You got to think. There's the connection there with Vader. You
Correct. And
know.
with Fallen Order Survivor taking place at the same time in the timeline.
Yeah. So you got to think like, you know, Cal saw Obi-Wan's message in
Correct.
Fallen Order. So, it's like, what are you what are you thinking? Do you think we see another Jedi? Do you think what happens in episode 4? Cuz right now I think the plot is kind of at like a stuck stall right now, cuz you got to think Obi-Wan has to go find Leia from Reva.
Right. Because that's a big problem.
It's a big problem if all of a sudden Leia and Vader meet 9 years early.
Well, it's not really because I mean, hasn't Leia? It's kind of assumed that Leia has met Vader, right? If we look at that scene in the new one, I mean,
A new
Leia is pretty
one?
sad.
A
I
new
mean,
one?
A New Hope. Uh,
Um
it's like because Leia talks to him like they've met.
No, I don't get it that they've met. I get it that she knows who she is.
He knows who she. Wait, that sentence made no sense. Vader knows who Leia is, and vice versa.
Both.
Okay,
Yes. Both. Hold on. I'm rewatching the scene now. You make me rewatch Star Wars. Thank you.
okay, okay. But yeah, I mean,
Classic Star Wars sounds.
I think. Now listen,
Oh
I
yeah,
know what.
the way this conversation starts, this is definitely a first interaction between the two.
Okay,
Her first words are, "Darth Vader, only you could be so bold."
I th- now I know what I know kind of what happens in the show.
Don't
From
you
the
spoil it!
I won't. But what I will say, I'm gonna give my predictions because I don't know what exactly happens when.
Okay.
I'm pretty confident Reva takes back Leia to Fortress Inquisitorius.
But like, why? And like, what purpose? She doesn't know that she's force sensitive. We know Leia has just the natural ability to mask her force abilities. So,
She's gonna try to get Kenobi to come to Fortress Inquisitorius.
oh, you think she's gonna try to bring him to Ner? Okay. Oh,
And
maybe potential showdown on Mustafar? Is that where we're going with this?
I don't think we'll see Vader next episode.
I don't either. I gotta agree with you there. I don't either.
But I do think episode 4 ends with Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan, because Obi-Wan is still not very hopeful at this point. This dude is just
No,
like
no.
he could kind of be like he was like a straight up dick to Leia at some points. It's just like no one's coming, nobody loves you, basically. It's just,
Yeah.
but I do like listen. One of my favorite parts of the show, or my favorite part, is the dialogue between the two. They feel very much like family. Because they are essentially they should be family. Like you could just see the regret Obi-Wan has. Like he says when he says the line, "I really wish I was your father."
Mm.
Um, and then like him kind of shying away from talking about Anakin, but he talks a lot about There's been a lot of Padme references, right?
Yes, yes,
Um,
yes.
even when he's trying to play it off that he called Leia, or he called Luma Leia. He's like, we miss her mother very much. Like that has a double meaning. He really means like that. When I
Yeah,
see Luma, I see Leia. He's very much saying like I see Padme.
yeah,
Um, I just love the dialogue between the two. It's been very emotionally
yeah.
impactful and it's been good. I think Vivian Lyra Blair is a great child actress. She's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it's too bad we haven't gotten seen little Luke at all. But oh
His
well,
story
we
comes later down the line.
yeah. I
His
mean,
story is the original trilogy. This is her
yeah,
story, which
yeah,
I like.
yeah. And I like that again. I said it earlier. Episode 9 was supposed to be her story. I like that we finally get this story for her. It's
Right,
not the story that she was intended to have with the big sacrifice like she was in episode 9, but I
right.
like that we're seeing the foundations of who she becomes.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Um,
very much so.
I really enjoy it. Again, I'm a big fan of Kenobi. I think if it continues with the next few episodes, I think it's going to be the best Disney Plus show. I know we have a big bar to set with the Mandalorian, but uh, maybe I should say this best season of a show because we're looking at the Mandalorian as a whole.
If I were to say, if I were to just isolate season 2 and season 1 of The Mandalorian to make it more fair, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is better than season 1 of
Oh,
The Mandalorian.
by far. Sorry, I know that sounds really harsh, but by far.
I have a really hard time putting it above season 2. Man, has some of my favorite moments.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, listen, this episode was great. Don't get me wrong. The whole Vader, everything with Vader was great. The dialogue between Kenobi and Leia on Frex transport, which is a funny stereotype of a character. That was such a
Yeah.
funny stereotype of a character. That's all been impactful. Leia and Kenobi's dialogue about the past and the present. Kenobi's like how they've dealt with his PTSD and stuff. Um, him trying to reach out to Qui-Gon, like it very much has been a culmination of everything in Obi-Wan's life. It's
Yeah.
perfect. But man, I don't think anything will top Luke Skywalker coming in.
Oh no.
I don't think anything will top seeing Ahsoka in live action.
Dude, depending on how the series goes, it could be.
I don't think anything will
Um,
top the reintroduction of Boba Fett. I
yeah.
just
I,
I have a
I,
hard
got,
time seeing it.
I gotta say, by the way, I'm still working on our end of the year ceremony for uh moments and whatnot from
Yeah.
this year. Maybe maybe after the Star Wars Celebration talk, I can reveal what those moments are going to be. There's a lot of them, by the way. There's a
Already.
lot of things that we have to talk about.
And we're
Yes.
only 6 months into the year.
Well, no. We're going to do this at the end. I'm going to reveal the categories to you today, after the show or during the show. It's going to be one of the two.
We'll do it after the show. But midway point. We're at the midway
Yeah.
point of the year, so
I mean, it's next. Yeah, yeah, we are in June. I was going to say when we get to June, we are. Today's June 1st.
yeah.
Yeah, crazy time to be alive. Who knew that we would get such a good show with Kenobi? Who knew we were ever going to get this show at all?
It's been great. Ewan's been great. Vivian Lyra Blair has been great as Leia. I think Moses Ingram has been very good as Reva.
Yes,
I'm still very curious about her story. I would say she was. I would say she was a weaker point of the episode. I would just say she got overshadowed because it's Vader.
I will say also, like that thing when she goes in to initially find, like to go down that tunnel with Leia. Looks like she has a moment where she recognizes some stuff and kind of gets like has to take a step back.
Well, it's the Jedi symbol. It's the Jedi Order symbol. So that she sees.
Yeah, and also somebody else pointed out in Fortress Inquisitorius, it looks like there's a youngling helmet in that display case. So maybe that's her youngling helmet.
So my theory is, and it could go one of two ways. She was left for dead in the temple, and she saw Obi-Wan and Yoda.
Yeah.
But they didn't come and help because they were too busy, trying to figure out who did this in the first place. They were trying to leave too.
And then also sent out a message saying to not go back.
Correct.
So basically telling nobody to go help her.
And my other theory is that she saw Anakin basically slaughter people. Well, not basically. Actually slaughter people.
Mm.
And she knew Obi-Wan was Anakin's master.
Yeah.
And she blames Obi-Wan for what Anakin became.
Yeah, I think another thing, by the way, what we might see for Reva's flashback is we might see a thing where she sees Anakin slaughter people.
Right.
And then we might see a thing that that recording in the archive that we see the Rise Lord Vader. And then we're gonna we'll get to maybe like a little older Reva when she first meets Darth Vader and she's able to piece the puzzle together, like, oh,
right, and that's how she knows.
Oh shit! Like, oh no.
But the weird thing is like, if Vader sensed that Reva knew who he really was, he would murder her right away. So like she's got to mask
And
that.
yeah, I gotta talk to you about that after the show.
I mean, we know what happens to this character. I
um,
mean,
but we haven't talked about it. It's not public information.
but
But we
you,
know,
you
we
could
know.
kind of assume.
Nope, nope, no assuming here. We don't assume on the show.
What would you rate this episode?
Let's say 8.5 out of 10. I'd say
I mean,
I'd
my
say had a lot of high highs. There were some low lows that were just a little jarring. Again, some of the CGI was very wonky. Vader's castle didn't look that good. Um, again, I also kind of Vader at points was a really scary villain to like, oh my god, this is like Marvel level of dumb villain. Like
it's
Jesus
Malekith.
Christ. Like not even Malekith bad. Like not from the sense of like bad written villain, just stupid. Like um like I'm trying to think of a really good example. Um I'm trying to think of the example that I've been thinking about. What is it? Oh, like as much as I love Yellow Jacket, okay, he was so stupid for letting Scott Lang break into the facility. Like, do you think that guy would not come equipped with the tools to break in? But overall, good villain. I think that's the kind
Yeah,
of thing of like Vader. Like, you could have easily just finished him off. So why didn't you?
but that wasn't his goal.
I mean, we know he's hunting Kenobi. I would hope you're not trying to hunt an animal just to make it suffer and then die.
I think that's what he's just toying with him.
Maybe,
I mean,
maybe,
bro,
maybe.
we can literally tell that he is way more powerful or way more in tuned with the Force at this point. He's
Yeah,
literally fighting with one hand. If he really wanted to kill Obi-Wan, he could have easily done it. I don't think he was even trying. He was just going through the motions.
yeah.
But I would give this episode a 9 out of 10. I would agree. The VFX, the CGI, especially with Vader's castle, was not good. Listen, the VFX teams are
No,
on tight schedules. It's tough. It's a movie budget. It's not.
yeah.
I mean, it's a
It's
TV budget. It's not a
yeah.
movie budget.
It's important to remember with VFX, you're not paying for the quality of the visuals. You're paying for the time. And if you're only going to be given individuals like what this show finished wrapping or filming months ago,
Uh, Early to mid September.
yeah, I mean that's a 7 month time. So
Yeah,
you're not again. Sometimes,
that was a 9, by the way. She gave.
yes, she gave the series a 9. Oh, I'll be back. I'll be
That was
back.
a really
You
bad.
give your
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 9 out of 10. The only problem I had was, like I said, it didn't look great. It didn't look fantastic. But besides that, the whole confrontation, the dialogue, I think Kenobi and Leia's back and forth, their chemistry, Vivian Lyler Blair has been a stud in this show. She's been great. Um, and the whole story, I've really enjoyed seeing Ewan back. And Vader was great. It was felt Vader. It's fantastic. I know Alex is a big costume guy and he cares a lot about looks, but I felt Vader. That's all I needed to feel. And obviously, the little Easter eggs we got. Obi-Wan's reveal that he had a brother. Um, little stuff like that was really good. Quinlan Voss, obviously, as we touched on. Um, so I really enjoyed all of that. And overall, I mean, this show I've given 9s, an 8.5, and an 8. So right now my average score is about an 8.5. So I mean that's pretty high for these or Disney Plus shows. I think Loki I had it about an 8.5. I think Mando season 1 I'd have about an 8.5. Mando 2 I think I had a 9. So I mean I think Kenobi's pretty high. It's probably a little bit higher than Loki, and it's up there with Moon Knight. I mean, I think Alex and I would agree the top 4 Disney Plus shows with Star Wars and Marvel are If Kenobi keeps pace, The Mandalorian, Kenobi, Moon Knight, and Loki,
Yes,
and I think
sir.
those four are in a class of their own. I think you could make an argument that The Mandalorian's in a class of its own by itself.
Yes, probably. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I would say. I think that's fair.
Yeah, absolutely. Would agree.
All right, let's move into our second big topic, a Miss Marvel preview. Now, Alex
Um,
has
I
hopefully
have
crafted some questions here.
I have to tell you, I have 7 questions.
Hey, that works. That's 6 more than I thought of. So
I used one of your questions once here.
that's 6 more than I thought of, man. So that's good. That's good.
And one of them is the obvious bold prediction. So we really only have 5 questions that I came up with.
That works, man. That works.
Okay. Question number 1. Why is this show coming out during Kenobi? Like, why of all times would you put it out during Kenobi? Just why do you think they use this time for Miss Marvel and not some other time? Like, I don't know, during like the time of like the end of June when there's nothing coming out.
Yeah, it's very odd in hindsight when we look at it. When they saw that Kenobi was coming out, and they're like, "Yes, let's also put this show in June. Yes, let's do it on the same day too." Like at the very least, if they had Kenobi on Fridays, right,
Mm-hmm.
and they had Miss Marvel on Wednesdays, I'd be fine with that. That would work much better.
Different story at that point.
But it's on the same day.
Same
And
day.
let me ask you, out of all of the Disney Plus Marvel shows, which one do you think had the least hype so far? Miss Marvel.
You got to think we went from literally what was it, 2 weeks ago or so? No, it was during Star Wars Celebration was the Miss Marvel premiere.
I didn't even know about it.
Didn't know until I saw Hertz Joe talking about it on TikTok because he went to the premiere.
Yeah.
That's how I found out that the premiere was happening.
Yeah. And listen, the other problem with this show that it has, first off, I don't think it's been marketed well.
No, the marketing started last week.
I think this has been one of the more poor marketed Marvel projects.
Yeah.
And listen, I've heard some good things. I read some people who watched the first 2 episodes. They said they really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I may enjoy the show, but the problem is it's going to be the show I put on after Kenobi.
It's going to be after Kenobi. Because
For
here's
those
the
first
thing.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
For those first 3 weeks at least.
Yeah.
It will give its own time to shine.
Yeah. And again, if we look at it like if we look at it with this, if you watch Kenobi before Miss Marvel, or no, if you watch Miss Marvel before Kenobi, you're going to be thinking about Kenobi more. It's just, if you look at it just in the grand scope, this Kenobi brought back Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen, 2 of the most highly requested things that I'm telling you Disney has ever gotten, and you're pinning that up against Miss Marvel.
Miss Marvel.
And when we look at the relation to the character who she's most associated with, Captain Marvel, that is like setting up a big failure. I can guarantee you this. Okay, this is my guarantee going into the show. Its premiere is going to be overshadowed by Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
It will probably be the most least watched Marvel premiere.
Mm-hmm.
I would even say it's probably going to be one of the least watched Disney Plus premieres.
Well, that's, are you saying all projects?
Of all projects.
Well, that's a lot of stuff.
I mean, of all
major. So of all Marvel and Star Wars.
Marvel and Star Wars, yes. It's going to be the least watched premiere. And
for
I would
live action.
I would even say animation. Like, you're gonna like we know Clone Wars had a major viewership. We know Bad Batch had a major viewership. Oh man. We like every series has had big viewership numbers. This series, I'm going to predict, is not going to.
Are we talking like what if numbers? I think what if might be the lowest. I don't know, but I think it might be what if. I'm pretty sure it is.
But I honestly think it's going to be giving What If a run for its money. and
Yeah,
I'm very sad about that. I love Miss Marvel. I love Kamala Khan, but this was not the time to release the show. I honestly would have been fine with waiting to put the show out around the time of the Marvels coming out.
yeah, right. And I think Amon Villani is going to kill it in that role, and we'll probably touch on that a little bit more. But it's just it's I think it's poor marketing. It's one of the more poor decisions made by Marvel Studios to just say, hey, let's release it during the most anticipated project in general, one of the more anticipated Disney
Of the
projects
year,
in the
of the
past
decade,
5 years.
of the
Yeah,
decade.
right. Yeah, just it just screams that we don't care. I think also.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting real J.J. Abrams Rise to Skywalker levels of stuff. Like, fuck it, just release it.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Because it's just like, honestly, like, I think Kenobi's in its own ballpark. It should have been on its own time slot where
yeah.
you didn't have to worry about Miss Marvel. Because, for people like us, I'm now not only going to have to go to next Wednesday being like, oh, I can't wait to go watch Kenobi. Then I have to also watch Miss Marvel after.
Well, think about the average person. They're gonna choose the
No.
Star Wars. They're gonna choose Kenobi. They're just gonna choose Kenobi. If they have one
Yeah.
to choose on Friday night, it's gonna be Kenobi. It's not gonna be
Like,
Miss Marvel.
you got to think, like, also from the average viewer. Kenobi is in what, episode 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, has a voice
Yes,
cameo in 7, 9, Clone Wars.
appeals
He's
to all sides of the
Yeah,
Star Wars fandom. You know who Obi
like
Wan Kenobi is. If you know
like
Star
he's
Wars, you know who Obi
yes,
Wan
he's
is.
one of the most mainstream memes of all time. And then you're placing him against a character who hasn't even been in existence for more than 10 years with Miss
Right.
Marvel. It's a big question mark to Marvel Studios as to why they did that.
Correct.
And you also have to think that this show is going to get what, episode 5 and 6 are going to episode 4 and 6 are going to be the only episodes released by itself with nothing going out that week.
Because Love and
Episode
Thunder comes out the fifth
during
week,
episode
correct?
Yeah, because we would have our preview and our review that same week. Now, let me ask you this, Drew. What are you going to be most excited for? Miss Marvel episode 5 or Thor Love and Thunder?
Uh, Love and Thunder.
I'm very surprised you had to think.
I was looking at something.
I know.
Sorry.
But it's crazy. Like, I think a more appropriate look at this would be She-Hulk and Andor. I think that's a very appropriate way to look at it. Like, I'm excited for both. And I think depending on how the series start out, I think I could honestly be maybe flipping and flopping between which one I'm more excited for from week to week. That's when I'm genuinely like, oh man, Andor could be really good, or She-Hulk could be really good,
Right.
or both could be really good, and I'm having to fight for which one I want to watch first.
Right.
This one is the definitive. I'm going to watch Kenobi first. There's no other
Right.
option.
Correct.
Like, maybe I'll think about Miss Marvel throughout the day. Literally, for Miss Marvel to like even get me thinking maybe of it as much as even the worst parts of Kenobi, which I pay almost no mind to, you would have to bring in major characters. Like, I'm saying you'd have to bring in MCU like 616 Black Bolt to bring him in to get me even somewhat excited for the show.
Yeah.
And they're most likely not. They're most likely not bringing the Inhumans in for the show. Like, this show is taking everything about Ms. Marvel, throwing it out the window, and expecting you to watch it over Kenobi.
Correct. What's next?
Apart from it being Marvel, what does excite you for Miss Marvel? And you can't use the fact that it's Marvel.
A fun, hopefully coming of age story.
Yeah.
Kind of similar to Peter Parker's story in the MCU. That's how it's been described.
Yeah.
So kind of similar to that. And obviously another role model for kids, right?
Yeah.
They got to look up to Miss Marvel. And this one is kind of Marvel related, but maybe it makes me appreciate the character of Captain Marvel more. Maybe through this show, I'll appreciate that character more.
Yeah, agree. I mean, I'm hoping that it's going to be a good fun story to watch from week to week to just be like, oh shit, okay, Kenobi was very dark, very brutal. Lighten the tone up a little bit.
Right. Let's be happy. You know.
Yes. Let's start the day very sad, and let's end the beginning of the day at least somewhat happy.
Right.
So are you ready for the next question?
Go ahead.
What worries okay, well I can't type. What worries you most about the show, and why is it that it's coming out during Kenobi?
It just screams to me that they don't know that they don't have faith in it, I guess.
Yeah, that's it.
It's just
That's it.
very odd to me. It's like they're not even trying.
It feels like this is how Star Wars was when the Bad Batch was coming out. Like very bad
Yeah.
marketing, very low effort, um, and that's how it feels with Miss Marvel. And it's very sad. Again, if you read the comics, play the Avengers game campaign, Miss Marvel's a very good character, and I'm very sad that this is the treatment she's getting.
Yeah, it's just odd to me.
Yeah, I mean, we like what worries me the most, and I'm gonna get into this question 4. Who's the villain of the series?
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you at all.
I don't know a single Miss Marvel villain.
I don't know.
Like what's like I don't know who the bad guy is.
Yeah, I have no idea.
And do you know why we don't know who the bad guy is, Drew? Because they're not marketing a bad guy.
No.
So it's really sad. And unfortunately, like we're gonna have to go straight to question 5. How do you feel about them changing her powers? Does it bother you? Are you
I don't
excited?
mind at all because, like I said, I don't know much about the character as
Yeah.
it is. I know they kind of. We've had characters though in the MCU that have very similar powers. I mean, look at Rhodey and Tony. Like they're
Yeah.
basically the same thing. I understand they want to have Big Blue Stretchy Man Reed Richards as the only stretchy person.
And I think also like story wise, she's gonna get her embiggen powers eventually, whether it be through because we know her powers come from what, a bracelet or whatever,
Yeah,
and so I'm gonna assume that something happens where she gets affected by Terrigen Mist
yeah,
and gets her inhuman powers. Maybe albeit through the Marvels or whatever.
right.
Um, it's it's just a little weird that they changed them. It's like again, you take the big thing that she's identifiable by and just kind of like throw it out the window. So weird choice, but you know what? Whatever is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I don't really get it. We have multiple characters that have the same or similar power sets, so I don't really understand why they're
Yeah.
doing it. Um, is she
And
almost having like Green Lantern powers, right?
yeah,
Almost
like
kind of.
construct powers. She can make things.
Right. Again, it's been really long
And
since I've seen the trailer, so it's
and
like,
wow, and it's like go figure. What is the one thing she makes construct of? Hands. So at that point, why not just give her embiggen powers?
it's it's weird. Listen, I trust the MCU and Feige. I trust. Um, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know, man. There's a lot of questions I have. I understand people said they liked the story of the first two episodes, but
Yeah.
I really feel like this will be my bold prediction. I won't say it now, but I have a bad feeling about a certain aspect of the show that we touched on earlier.
Oh,
But
oh, I don't even
continue,
know. Okay.
continue. I'll make it as my bold
Um,
prediction. It's a
and
negative one. It's terrible.
and this was your question: how slash will they introduce the Inhumans? And I don't think they will.
I hope they do
I hope to also, but I don't think they will.
because that would be really interesting. Now, originally, right, when Phase 3 was announced, there was going to be an Inhumans movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, Feige has a big distaste for the Inhumans. He's not a big Inhumans guy. And originally, because of the whole Fox thing, the Fox owned X-Men. The Inhumans were basically going to be the replacement for the X-Men of the MCU. They were going to be the X-Men essentially. but
Yeah.
they're not as cool. I mean, the Inhumans aren't cool. I'm just gonna say that
They're
straight up.
not.
The Inhumans are not cool. Like, guys, we all saw Doctor Strange too. Black Bolt sucks. Okay, Black Bolt sucks. Okay, now it would be cool to have the Inhuman, him be the Inhuman King. It'd be cool for us to have that established in the MCU. But
Yeah.
that's all I want established. I literally do not want anything else. The Inhumans
Yeah.
show wasn't great. Black Bolt didn't even have like his comic suit in that. Like it was weird. Um, the Inhumans would be cool to introduce, and that would be like one big thing I'd like to see in the show. But it doesn't seem like Kamala Khan is going to be an Inhuman.
No, it doesn't, which is really weird. Again, the big thing that we all know her for just gets thrown away.
And you're saying no, not at all. You don't
I
think it
don't.
happens at all.
I don't think they get introduced at all, which is very sad because again, that is like.
Now, can you explain to me? Now, it has something to do with the Kree that the Inhumans happen, correct?
So the Inhumans are Kree experiments through the use of Terrigen Mist.
Okay.
If you go off the Avengers game, basically a helicarrier, one of the helicarriers blow up and spreads out Terrigen Mist and creates the Inhumans. They're seen as freaks throughout society. They get their power stolen or they get eliminated, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't. It's very unfortunate. I don't see them hitting on it in the show.
So we would have to see Kree then in order for that to kind of happen. I mean, we wouldn't
Yeah.
have to, but it would be
No,
kind
they
of
could.
big.
Yeah, they could change it, but it's just like why at that point?
Right. Yeah, I don't see the Kree being in the show. That's something I don't see.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have another question.
Yeah.
Do you think Brie Larson's Captain Marvel will be in the show?
Maybe in the final episode.
I could see her being a post-credit scene.
Yeah, maybe like a thing of recruiting Kamala.
Right. And
Yeah.
Monica already be with her.
Yeah, or like have, because my prediction for the Marvels is that's where we're gonna get the Inhumans from.
You think the
Because
Terrigen Mist is released then? That would make
and
sense.
yes, because the thing is the Inhuman stuff doesn't take place in New York. In the Avengers game, it takes place in California, but typically it takes place in New Jersey, which is that's Kamala's hometown, New Jersey,
Right.
or home
Home state.
state.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's maybe we could see the Inhuman outbreak in the Marvels, and that's what they're fighting is the Kree experiments. We already know that if you think they're going to base it off the Avengers game, we basically know they're not going to because MODOK is going to be in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania
hmm
as the bad guy, right? Not Kang.
Yeah, MODOK will probably be the main villain of that film, correct?
Which I'm excited for. I'm excited to see how he's going to look. So yeah, that's my prediction. I think we're gonna get maybe Miss Marvel, or I'm sorry, Captain Marvel in here, probably just recruiting Kamala in a post-credit scene, and then the Marvels will be about the accidental creation of the Inhumans.
That's your bold prediction.
But sure, I'll also use it as my bold prediction as well.
My bold prediction is, and this is a negative one, this will have the worst MCU villain. I don't even care who it is. It's going to have the worst MCU villain. The fact that I don't even know who the villain is already a problem.
Who is the villain in Miss Marvel? Cradle?
Huh?
Oh, that's not even like. Hold on. No, all of these are literally just things like of her villains from the comics ranked. Okay, yeah. So Google doesn't even know who her villain is. So I guess we'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out.
We'll have to find out when we watch the show.
Yeah, not good. Not good at all.
Come on, Drew. What did you actually expect to like know that stuff?
Kind of. I think it's kind of a big deal to know the villain of a show.
Well,
Um,
I think that's your loss then. You actually expected them to actually let you know anything.
so we did this last week, but Alex, you want to take a little break, like a 2 to 3 minute break?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna blast some lo-fi beats here real quick, and oh, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, we'll be back. We're gonna take a little. We'll be back at 9:35. We'll take a little 4 minute break here. So
Oh, good. I can go use the bathroom real fast.
here we go. Little break. Oh, you
Oh,
want to
oh.
hear it?
Want a break from the ads? Okay. Bye bye.
Bye. And we're back. Back.
Back.
I like that, man.
Yeah. It's a good break.
All right, let's move into our third topic. The Bad Batch Season 2 trailer.
The bad bitches.
I need you to do that for our outro when that show comes out.
Yes, and remember, you're a bad bitch.
What did you think, man?
It got me excited, like weirdly, really excited.
Alex is notorious for absolutely dismantling that show numerous times on this stream, bro.
Bro, the reviews, they're my favorite to watch because because I slaughter the show. Slaughter. I just go in. I have no chill when I talk about that show.
Listen, there was like a period of time, like there was like episode 8, 9, like 10, 7, where Alex was really positive. And then boo, boo.
Boo, boo, get this off of my screen.
It went really
Why am I
downhill.
watching this?
And then also, like, we had guests come on for that, and unfortunately, our guests would always come on during the worst episodes. I'll never forget we had
Word.
Maddie the Archivist on, and it was the bug episode, bro. It was the bug episode with Sid.
We might have to reach out to Maddie to see if he can come on for the Kenobi finale.
Yeah, we'll have to get some people on, for sure. But to get back to the trailer, I enjoyed it too. Listen, I like the show more than Alex. I don't love it, obviously. But you got to give it some time to breathe. Rebels needed some time to breathe. Clone Wars needed some time to breathe.
Rebels
yes.
was good from season 1.
No, it was not. Please stop.
Clone Wars was good from season 1. It wasn't the greatest. Rebels wasn't the greatest from season 1. It was good though. This show was bad.
The problem is, right, it was 2 characters. Like they did a little thing with Wrecker with the inhibitor chip, and then like Tech and Echo were just there, bro.
It's not even that. It was too many episodes. Too much. It was too much. It was too much to get up every Friday to be like,
20 minutes of this.
20 minutes of just the same shit. Oh, guys, we're out of milk. We need to go to this planet to go get some milk for Sid. Oh no, Omega got captured again. We gotta go get Omega again. Oh no, we're gonna run into this guy that we saw in season 2 of the Clone Wars again. Hey, do you guys know who that is?
Cut LeQuain.
Rex.
What about Hera?
Oh yeah, what about this other show that canonically comes 10 years late or 14 years later? Yeah. It's crazy. That's all I felt like with this show.
Well, we also saw On Free Tar, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah. I just think the show lacked star power.
Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. But
Vader wasn't questioned. Palpatine was like made a brief cameo, but that was honestly like nothing. Like that was if anything a Revenge of the Sith continuation.
Correct.
Like we know he's gonna be the big boy this season, hopefully. Yes.
Well, I unfortunately I think it's just gonna be one scene. I really do. Like I really think because if you see in the background, it's Kamino being destroyed, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just gonna be Imperial propaganda, like him saying, "Yes, we finally destroyed Kamino, the last remnants of the Republic Army. We are now going to stormtroopers."
Maybe we'll actually see stormtroopers in the season. We see Delta Squad. I think that's their name.
Yes, we do. We do see Delta Squad, Republic Commandos.
We also see I think he's a myth at this point. We see Commander Cody, but I've never seen
Cody
him.
Twice.
No, I've never seen him.
We literally see him in his armor. It's just I can't find it in the trailer, bro.
I can't find the frame. I literally I went through and tried like slowly going through. And I could not.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna
find it. It was awful. I don't think did we get a announcement for when it comes out?
This fall.
Oh god damn it.
So probably after Andor.
Oh god damn it. Wait, how can it be this fall?
Okay. What do you mean?
Wait, because Andor's finale takes place on what's it called?
I found him, Alex. I found him.
Oh my god, what's the timestamp?
34 seconds. It's really quick. I
No
have it
way. No way. It was at 34 seconds.
right here. That's him.
Oh my gosh.
That's him. That's him in Crosshair.
I never saw that frame before.
That's him.
And then there's a time at the end of the trailer also.
I think. Oh, did I just find it?
No.
That's him.
There you go. It's so weird. He looks like he's in stormtrooper armor.
Yeah, that armor looks different than.
I think that is stormtrooper armor. It looks
It
like
is.
stormtrooper and modified clone trooper armor.
Than
Because you
that
can
armor.
see, yeah. Because look, yeah, you can see his pauldron right there with the thing sticking out, like the thing Commander Bond had, or Captain Bond had.
So, what do you think's up? What do you think's going on?
Like, what's the plot?
Yeah.
So we know this takes place a few years after the finale of season 1.
Yes, times passed. I do like the new outfits. I want to mention that.
Yes,
I do like the new
yes.
new fits.
We can see that Omega is definitely sitting into her role as the new crosshair of the group. She's
Right.
a much more proficient shot with her bow, so
Absolutely.
good on her.
I also love the music in this trailer. The Kinder Brothers, bro, always killing it with the animation music.
So I'm gonna go for predictions for the plot. I'm gonna go that the Bad Batch is probably out. That probably just doing rebel stuff, whatever Imperials don't like. And then Crosshair is gonna be like, "Hey, that's not good. Stop that. Stop doing that." And then he's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go get the big dog on you." And you're gonna be like, "Oh, who's the big dog? Is it this Darth Vader?" No, it's Commander Cody.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't need to see any Inquisitors. Don't need to see that.
It's weird. I think we'll see one. I think we'll
Oh my
see
god.
one.
Oh, who? The Grand Inquisitor? No,
No, not the Grand Inquisitor. I think we'll probably see like maybe Trilla. No, I don't know.
The Ninth Sister.
Something. Seventh Sister. Someone. We'll see
Reva.
someone.
Reva as a little child.
Reva as like Reva's like a 13-year-old.
Inquisitor.
You guys are done. Who do you think you are?
No. So obviously Sid's gonna be in the show. Your favorite character, Sid. I think that's for a little bit though. I think they get away from Sid.
Yes, it feels so weird. Their relationship is so abusive. It is like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's relationship. It's just like you're being abused, but then you just keep going back to the abuse.
They need the money. They need the money.
I know, but it's just like there's just such more reliable places to get money in the galaxy. It's just like go literally anywhere else.
Who's worse, Sid or the guy that Gregor worked for in that dishwasher place in the restaurant?
Gregor, the guy who Gregor worked with, because he literally like brainwashed him basically, and then basically told him that he was a nobody when he was like defecting. Like way worse.
Yeah, and also Sid's still sus to me. Sid is still sus. She
nah, I think she's good, but good with quotes around it.
Good with quotation marks.
But like not Empire bad.
No.
I will say I'm not very thrilled that they're bringing Rex back into the action. I think
why?
I know why they're bringing Rex. Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my gosh.
Is everything okay?
I'm gonna be right back.
Okay. Sorry about that. Wow. That's gonna be weird to edit out. What do I do? Do I just wait? Yeah, let's just wait, and then we'll get back. We'll cut this. I gotta remind myself to cut. Alex will be right back. But yeah, I really enjoyed this trailer, like I was saying. I thought it was really good. I thought the music was really well. Obviously, really done well. The Kinder brothers are great. We'll obviously touch on a certain Jedi being in it, but obviously he was making the point about Rex. Obviously Rex coming back in would be very impactful. So my theory is like Crosshair needs someone to help him. He enlists the help of Cody. Cody helps, and Cody is kind of the difference maker because he knows the ins and outs of the Bad Batch. And combined, Crosshair and Cody are able to beat them with the intellect of an altered clone, essentially, with Crosshair and an unaltered. I mean, he is altered technically. Uh, Cody, who's um, more of a traditional clone, they're able to take the Bad Batch out. Not killing them, but pushing them back. And the Bad Batch will have to enlist the help of Rex because Rex will know how to defeat Cody, and I ultimately think that Rex will kill Cody in what will be an emotionally impactful moment and will make a lot of sense for the show. I'm gonna grab my phone 1 second. We'll be right back. Are we okay?
I'm back. So apparently one of my kittens just stopped breathing. So he's meowing. So I think he's fine. But they're bringing him to the vet. I don't know what is going on. My family can just not get a break right now.
What is happening in this? I was terrified, bro. I was actually scared.
Too. Like,
I heard all I heard was your name screamed. I'm like, okay.
No, it wasn't my name. I don't know what. She screamed something, so I went down. But anyways, on to the Bad Batch. What were you saying?
I was talking about, you were touching on Rex a little bit. I'm gonna have to cut this out. I was touching on Rex. So my theory is that Cody is brought in, by Crosshair.
Yeah.
Because Crosshair needs to enlist some help to defeat the Bad Batch. Really weird though, especially the way we ended season 1. I felt like they were kind of like not like cool, but they were like, yeah, let's not kill each other anymore.
Yeah, I kind of like a ceasefire. Like, hey,
right,
you guys, I'll go this way, you go that way. We didn't see each other. We're going our own separate ways.
I think Cody's gonna convince him to go back after him, and I think with Cody's help, Crosshair and Cody will ultimately push back the Bad Batch, and they'll have problems maneuvering the galaxy. But they will enlist the help of Rex, who will even the odds. And I ultimately think Rex kills Cody, which will be a very sad scene to see. But I think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna be just Rex though. I think we're gonna get Gregor and Wolf. I think we'll get all of them. Get the trio from Rebels.
And I think that's what's gonna break Rex, and I think that's when Rex will finally go off and be with Gregor and Wolf, and essentially just drop it all because he's kind of like dropped it all at this point.
It's a weird phenomenon though that many protagonists in Star Wars have. Rex has it, Obi-Wan has it, Luke has it, Yoda has it, where they all something happens and they're just like, "Yep, we got to go away. The galaxy is better without us."
Right.
Now, granted, I guess the conversation of which who did the exile better? It's an endless conversation. It's very common in Star Wars though, which I find very weird.
Star Wars, man. Star Wars got a lot of common tropes, and I don't mind. I mean, it would make a lot of sense to me that Rex is like so traumatized from having to kill Cody that like he'd have to like go into exile.
Yeah. I mean, again, we talked about it either last show or the show before that. I mean, you got to think. Yes, they were separate. Separate legions with the 212th and the 501st, and they were basically one legion.
Wherever the 212th was, the 501st was, and vice versa.
Yeah, like Umbara, the one place in season 7,
Christophsis, basically.
Christophsis, like they were everywhere together.
Geonosis.
Again, they say that Anakin was the leader of the 501st and Obi-Wan was the leader of the 212. But I think it's pretty easy to see that like they led each other's legions multiple times.
Right.
And so it's a thing that I think that's where I was going to, was that I think we're going to be leading to a point where we could be looking at the maybe in a finale set in a scene where Rex kills Cody. I will say this, I worry about that happening in the show just because it kind of feels like I would rather want to talk about that than the Bad Batch. But
right, that kind of overshadows them. Yeah.
But then again, we've had shows like Book of Boba Fett, where Boba Fett wasn't in like 3 of the episodes. So
Correct.
Star Wars is, and more specifically Disney Plus Star Wars, not very new to overshadowing its main characters. So yeah, I agree. I think that's where the story is going to go. Sorry, I'm a bit shaken still, but yeah, I'm looking again, weirdly looking forward to Bad Batch season 2. It's so
Now,
weird.
we haven't touched on Gunji.
Oh my god! Jeez, I forgot that was in the trailer. Yes. Do you think
Super
all of them
excited for that.
survived? Do you think they
No,
all survived? Oh, that'd be so
no.
sad if only Gunji survived.
I
There's
think it's only Gunji because I think Gunji's just the cutest, bro. He's just the
hmm.
purest. I love that man.
I think they all survive. And I think they were the ones that took Grogu, which I'm very nervous about them showing Grogu in the series.
That's really good because remember way back when we used to talk about leaks and stuff, it was
Mhm.
thought that Grogu was going to be seen in the Bad Batch. Now maybe they were working on season 2 way back then,
Yeah.
and that's it. I don't know if I would like younglings taking Grogu, but it would make the most sense. It would
It
just make more
it's
sense.
weird. It's weird because I feel the same way about like that you're feeling right now about this, like how I did with Luke and the Mandalorian. How I was just like, oh, I don't want it to be Luke, but it makes just so much story sense. And now, hey, that's one of my
Because I'd
kids.
feel weird if it was like Mace Windu before he went.
Yeah, it's just there's just too much. That's just like
Yoda? Why
it
would
was,
Yoda? Why?
yeah, like, and also that it's also very depicted that this was happening during like that stuff in Book of Boba Fett when Luke peers into his memories. It's very obvious that was middle, like during the night of Order 66, not
Right?
during the day aftermath.
Right.
Um, which honestly, it's weird that Order 66, I know its official name is Operation Nightfall. I'm surprised that isn't called Night of a Thousand Tears. Like, I think that's a more fitting name than it was for the Mandalorians, because I can definitely tell you right now there wasn't 1,000 tears for the Mandalorians, because there are definitely millions of people who died in the bombing of Mandalore. But whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
but Gunji and that crew, I mean, they presumably they could have been like together and they just snuck out.
yeah, I mean, you got to think what those younglings were probably what do you think, 10, 11 years old in the Clone Wars
Right.
when we see them? They'd probably be
Right.
what, about 16, around that age, around probably around like that age. And
Yeah.
so
And what do you think's up with them? What do you think they're doing?
probably just going around helping anybody that they can. Um,
Do you think that's the reason we get Inquisitors?
and I is don't hate me for this, but I think maybe if Star Wars wants to go dark, they're going to show the Inquisitors killing those kids.
Oh, that would be for Bad Batch, bro. Clone Wars gets dark, but that would be
Clone
really
Wars,
dark.
Clone Wars had a suicide attempt, and no, not an attempt, a successful
A
suicide.
successful suicide. I was
So
just gonna
when
say
the guy on Mandalore jumped off the building in front of Obi-Wan.
yes. And that was only in the second season.
Clone Wars also in the 4th season on Cartoon Network, I mind you, had Ahsoka decapitate 4 humans.
Oh,
So,
and Maul chopped Pre Vizsla's head off.
and Maul stabbed Satine, and she died in her lover's hands. Um, they also cut a lot of limbs off in that show.
Yeah,
They
there's a
all
lot of violence in that show. Now that I think of it.
again, and that's what series, the Skeleton Crew. That's the kind of thing that
Right.
they were
Vibe.
saying. Yeah, same vibe.
Right.
Um,
That would
so
be super bro. If I see Gunji die to like the grenade, that's gonna be so sad. That would
I
actually
know.
be traumatizing to me, bro. What? That's messed up, Alex. I can't believe you brought that up.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but it's the truth. Okay, the Gunji. I'm gonna cut that little bastard's head off. The Grand Inquisitor. No,
What
it's
would
all
that be like? The Grand Inquisitor's one and only Jedi kill because that dude does
and
nothing.
can't obviously just can't kill anybody. But yeah, I think right now we are We're looking at the thing that that was one of Star Wars's biggest mysteries coming off of the Clone Wars is what happened to that crew of kids.
Right.
Did they if they did survive, did they ever go trying to find Ahsoka? I'm surprised that we don't see Ahsoka in the series. I'm very surprised, very shocked that they got Rex twice, but not Ahsoka. And I think I understand why Rex has more plot significance and relevance because he was in the Clone Wars season 7 with them.
Hmm.
But you know, I think it's just weird that we haven't gotten Ahsoka. Ahsoka is in everything, so it's just I want to see her. It's weird. I remember. I don't even remember when we talked about this, but I know on stream I have talked about multiple times not wanting to see Ahsoka, but
I really didn't even want to see Jedi in this show, but I'm fine with like Gunji and that. That makes sense to me. Like
yeah,
Padawans, like the Bad Batch has to help. Like it could be a very similar thing to what Quinlan Voss does, or we were told he does in Kenobi. Like the Bad
yeah.
Batch has to escort these Padawans to somewhere safe. But the other problem this adds again is like I feel like too many Jedi are surviving Order 66.
Nah, I mean, again, you got to think it's out of 10,000. We've seen probably what 20 or so survivors.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta have. I mean, listen, there's all those Inquisitors. They gotta kill something. So,
Yeah,
like,
and we got to know that like Order 66 didn't kill all of them in one fell swoop. Like
right,
it was
killed a lot
over.
of them.
It killed a lot of them, and it was mainly masters who that was targeted towards. Um, and so I think that's just something to keep in mind that right now, um, you know, I would say Order 66 on the initial sweep of it probably killed off. I would say probably about half of the Jedi Knights
I'd
and
even say more
Padawans.
than that. I'd say
Yeah,
more than that. I'd
and
say
then I
like 3/4 of the Jedi.
yeah, and then I'd say the aftermath probably left us with like I'd say about 1,000 left, and that's including Padawans, younglings, and whatnot.
Right.
So, and even Kenobi in this episode referenced, they never know what the Inquisitors did to them, but we never see them again.
Right.
So they either get turned into
Well,
Inquisitors
even Tala,
or
like Tala says, there's been a lot of Jedi to pass through here, so there are Jedi out there, right?
oh yeah, there's lots of them.
Um, yeah, and I think I'm really excited to see Gunji and hopefully the rest of the crew. Cody, obviously, that whole subplot with him and Rex. I really hope that doesn't become a forefront of the show because that takes away from the Bad Batch. But weirdly enough, I think we might actually get. I'm actually fine with more of that because it means less Hunter and Omega episodes. Now, listen, you could have those
Yes.
episodes, but I felt like there was too much of that. I understand you got to
Yeah.
establish those characters, but I feel like we did that, and then what are Tech and Echo's characters at this point?
Yeah, I feel like that's a big thing. If I'm going into an episode prediction slash hoping, I unfortunately think they're gonna remain with 16 episodes. I'm hoping for probably 12, maybe even
Yeah,
just 10. Um, I just think that, I think the way if they're gonna do so many episodes, they need to be longer. 20 minutes is not enough time to start a show that's picking up from where another show left off and then trying to make it its own thing.
which is so weird to me because like these even Bad Batch episodes are longer than Rebels and Clone Wars episodes because Rebels and Clone Wars episodes were held to the constraints of television. With
Yes,
Disney Plus, you could do however long you want. So
literally.
it's kind of weird to me. I mean, look at the Bad Batch's strongest episode. It's that 60-minute premiere.
Yeah. And it's amazing. It's because it had time to breathe. And so I feel like once they started going to 20 minutes, you started noticing, oh, this is the plot of the episode. Oh, the episode's done. And that was kind of the problem. The other,
I mean, that's been the problem with Rebels for some Rebels and Clone Wars
yeah,
episodes, but it was just more prevalent in the Bad Batch. I would agree with
yeah.
that.
And then one of the other problems that I think Bad Batch had was the villain problem. They were trying to establish to us that Crosshair was the villain, but then we didn't see him for half the show.
Right.
And so now that I feel like they've somewhat established him as a villain, now we need to see more of him. And so that's what I'm hoping. I'm hopeful for season 2. We get more of him.
Well, I'm
Maybe.
also a little worried that there's gonna be too many villains, but I think this won't happen. We also have the whole Tantus thing, the whole Mount Tantus thing with the clone, yeah, with the Republic command. What's going on Tantus? I feel like
Yeah.
that's gonna be a big thing, right? I mean, that's
Yeah.
gonna be probably cloning, and that lends credence to the Grogu idea, because, um, if Gunji and that crew help save Grogu, I would assume that the Empire would be looking for a young Force sensitive to clone, and if they
Yeah.
saw a a species of Yoda, they're gonna be like that.
Yeah.
So I wonder, do you think
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe
Grogu
that's.
in animations are gonna be weird? I don't know if I'd
I
like
know.
it.
Man, we gotta see it first, but yeah, I think maybe that could be a big part of season 2 is that they're trying to protect Grogu from being taken. Which
I
again,
mean, we know Grogu's memory goes dark for a long period of time.
yeah. So
So
it would maybe be realistic that he forgets all of this over the course of what 20 years or so.
yeah, yeah,
So maybe, but who knows? Who knows?
yeah,
I'm hopeful because, like you said, that you bring up the good point. There are a lot of villains for the show. You got Rampart, Crosshair, Cody, Palpatine, the Empire as a whole,
right.
any other mercenaries that they're going to come across.
Yeah. Do we see Boba?
Maybe, maybe we'll see Alpha. Um, but then again, like I think the one worry that I have is we're going to fall into the problem that season uh one had. Sorry, I'm like blanking right now. That season one had that Echo and Tech and Wrecker and just everybody who wasn't Omega or Hunter didn't matter to the team, and so that's my big hope is that they fix that problem. I wanna know more about Echo. I want to know more about Tech. Um,
And again, I have that problem also because they were kind of absent from this trailer. So
yeah,
yeah, I totally
yeah.
agree with that.
I do say because we didn't get to really talk about it. I love the new paint job of the armor. I love that they
Yes,
got
it's like
from
a
the black and the
orangey
red.
look.
Yeah, it's like a
Yeah,
gray and yellow orange.
yeah, I
Um,
like it.
yeah. So yeah,
And
I'm
Omega has armor now.
yes, I love her look. I like her older look a lot more. I like it a lot more.
Yeah.
So yeah, ultimately excited weirdly for the Bad Batch season 2. It's weird. I never thought you'd hear the words "I'm excited for the Bad Batch" coming out of my mind, but
And
here
this
we
show
are.
will lead right into I mean it's not gonna lead into chronologically, but if it's coming out after Andor, I mean Andor's gonna run all the way until early November. Bad Batch will take us, into February almost, so into the
Yeah, and
Mandalorian season 3.
I'm so sad that we're probably going to go Andor, Bad Batch, and The Mandalorian.
I'm fine with that.
I'm not fine with that. I honestly think that this would have been the perfect show for Miss Marvel to go against.
Yeah, 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 right.
Because
Right,
honestly, the hype for both of them, probably for me around this time, would be the same.
right. So let's now move into our do you have anything else to say, actually?
No.
Let's move into our final topic. Let's recap all of the stuff from Star Wars Celebration that was past Friday. So we had the Mando Plus panel, we had Tales of the Jedi, and we obviously had the Bad Batch thing that we talked about. So we talked about Fallen Order 2, Jedi Survivor, and
Yeah.
all of the stuff that happened Thursday last week. I made a bunch of TikTok videos. I made 9 TikTok videos breaking down
Mhm.
every single announcement. So go check
And
those out.
also, apparently, we got the announcement of Disney Plus Day this year. So
We'll be watching it.
yes, we will be. Hopefully, it takes place on a weekend this time.
Yeah. Um. Oh, and Visions. And Visions. Vision season 2.
Yeah,
So, where do you want to start with those? Do you want to start with the Mando Plus thing?
sure.
Pretty big, man.
Mm-hmm.
Massive. We got our first look at Harrison Dula and
Yep.
Sabine Wren in
Yeah,
Ahsoka.
we got our official casting of Sabine too.
Natasha Liu, right?
Yeah,
What do you think? You're the Rebels guy here, and
I'm
this show.
excited. I'm excited. It was weird because I wonder if Natasha's gonna be talking in like her British accent. Um, I think it'd be funny if Sabine went from like not British to British. So, um, I'm still just curious who is going to play Hera. Vanessa Marshall is like the only option. Like she literally voiced Hera. So
I don't think it's going to be. I
you
think
don't think it? Why not?
it's that Elizabeth. What's her last name?
No,
You know what I'm
no,
talking about, though.
yes, but no,
I
don't
think
be
it is.
her.
I think
Vanessa
it is.
Marshall. Again, it makes no sense to me because the way that the Rebels animation was that
Uh oh. No. Is this me? Alex cut out. That's not great. Um, that's not good. Alex, no.
they were based off of. Oh no! Oh, I was gonna
Alex,
say,
you cut it cut out. You good?
are you good? Your screen froze.
No, yours froze on my end.
Yours froze on my end. Like you're just stuck. I could hear you, but I couldn't see you.
Wait, really?
Yes.
That's crazy. That's wild.
Maybe that was a StreamYard thing, because then everything cut out and then everything came back.
Okay, what were you saying? Go back.
It's weird to me because the way that the Rebels animators made the faces of the characters look was generally based off of how the voice actors looked.
Mm-hmm.
Like look at Kanan and look at Freddie Prinze Jr. and tell me you don't see Kanan in there. There were some that was just like, yeah, obviously again Callus was a white man voiced by a black man. But again, look at Thrawn. Like you can tell it's his voice actor. You can tell
Mm-hmm.
that's who his face was definitely based off of.
Mm-hmm.
And again, just look at a picture of Hera and look at a picture of Vanessa Marshall and tell me you don't see the two.
Right. Yeah, I get it. But in Dave we trust.
No, and Dave, we don't trust because if they recast Vanessa Marshall, I'm not going to be thrilled.
And we see Chopper.
Yeah,
Chopper.
it's so
Chopper.
what? Chapelle. Chapelle.
Obviously Ahsoka's gonna have a really high kill count. Then the show is gonna have a lot of death with Chopper in it.
Yes, we're gonna. I better see that guy pick up a blaster and shoot
I'm
somebody.
gonna laugh so much if I see that in live action.
I want to hear. I want to hear him do the Superman thing that he did, though. That's what I want to
uh,
see.
um, and we also saw the mural.
Yeah.
So this is
Very,
obviously.
very weirdly in the Rebels animation. Um, if you look at it, it's the literal mural from Star Wars Rebels,
I
and
mean, listen,
it looks green screened on.
it's only been filming for 3 weeks, so them showing any footage was
I'm
crazy.
crazy, crazy, crazy. Same with the
Uh,
Mandalorian.
well, the Mandalorian's been done. I mean, the Mandalorian's been done filming since I want to say late April
Yeah, it hasn't been long.
or April. Yeah, about late April. April that matches.
Yeah,
Um,
but it's
and it
just
looks,
like
and that's a perfect segue. Babu Frick
Babu Frick.
and a couple other
Droid,
members of his species too.
Droid is ready. Now I better be
Uh,
able to hear that. Mando is ready.
I can't wait to see him and Mando's interaction. It's gonna be
I
so funny.
know. He's literally just gonna. He's gonna. Mando's gonna tell him. Can you like calm down? Why are you so? Why are you so excited right now? Droid, go black, black, black.
Grogu is definitely gonna try to eat him.
Yes, he's gonna lift him off the ground. He's gonna go. Ah!
uh, yeah. So some interesting stuff about Mando season 3, right? We got some extended looks. We had a destroyed Imperial Star Destroyer. Um, we saw. What else did we see? We saw some more shots of Bo-Katan. Saw some more stuff of Mandalore. We saw the capital of Sundari, all destroyed.
Yep.
A space fight. Man, listen. Just from the grainy footage I saw, Mando 3 is gonna be crazy.
I know. It's crazy. Like you would think, how are they gonna top season 2? And then they do.
They're gonna do it.
It's crazy.
They're actually like I have no doubt in my mind that they will somehow top the
And
Luke
then
Skywalker
I know
moment.
this wasn't related to Star Wars Celebration, but then Jon Favreau announces he's in the making of the Mando season 4 script.
I don't know if I love
And
it, man.
I know you don't want a Mando season 4, but dude, I could have the Mandalorian go on forever, and I would never get bored.
I mean I think I've said this, or actually I've said this after a comedian who said it, but he's like shows aren't good after season 6, so they can do 6 seasons, and then after that they're not good.
Well, if anything, The Flash has shown that no shows are good after season 2. So maybe that's spelling bad news for the Mandalorian. It's not. It's not.
No, this show it's I mean just based off of it, we get Babu Frick, we
Yeah.
get Mandalore, I mean the capital Sundari, I mean crazy man. And then
Yeah.
all the stuff with Persian, like that whole thing. Wow.
I
Moff
know.
Gideon's back.
Grief Karga, no Cara Dune. Yeah. Exciting times, man. Mando, man. Picking up the pace.
The Mandoverse. I will
Again,
say I will
oh yeah,
say missed opportunity on Thrawn and Ezra casting.
I know. I heard about who they were potentially going for Ezra.
I've never heard of him. He's an Indian
Never.
actor.
Never.
I think it's a missed opportunity with Mina, but in Mina Masood, but in Dave we trust, man. I trust
And
Dave. I
same with the
really trust.
Thrawn thing. Why
I
is it
don't
not the
think
guy from Rebels?
I don't think it's gonna be
Mads?
Mads Mikkelsen. Yeah,
If it isn't, I riot.
if it wasn't Mads, I'd want it to be Benedict.
No. 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 I wouldn't want it to be Benedict. I wouldn't want it to be Robert Downey Jr. There's
Well,
one option.
now let me
One option.
ask: you wouldn't want it to be Benedict because he would just see Doctor Strange the whole time.
I would see Doctor Strange. I would want to, instead of hearing him talk about how he's going to dismantle the rebels from the inside, I would want to hear him talk about the multiverse or talk about the Infinity Stones.
I think
Like,
he would kill it as Thrawn. Don't get me wrong. I think he'd be great.
no,
The one I don't get is Robert Downey Jr. I don't see it at all.
no. Literally, the only reason I could see that is because he played Tony Stark, who's smart.
Right, but Thrawn's not like quippy like that. Thrawn's
No.
just methodically brilliant.
If you look in
Evil.
Rebels, name me one scene with Thrawn that is comedic.
None.
There is maybe one scene that I can think about, which is when he takes the Imperial officer and he like rips his he brings him forward by his shirt and he's like, oh, I forgot. Not all of us appreciate art. It's like
I couldn't see Downey pulling that off.
No.
Bro, Downey's like just imagine him as Thrawn saying, "Hey, Squidward looking dude." What like
I know. Listen here, Squidward. It's just no.
I just
no.
like if I saw Downey as Thrawn, I'd be like, "Bro, what is Iron Man doing these days?"
Again,
Like,
I literally could be like, if I saw Benedict, I'd be like, what in the multiverse of madness is going on here?
where's
just like,
Christine?
where's Christine at, bro? Like, he's gonna be talking to Ahsoka and I'll be like, hey, yo, multiverse Doctor Strange and Christine Palmer. Where's
Yeah, I
the
couldn't
line
see
that
it.
you love her in every universe?
I couldn't see it, but obviously Sabine's gonna play a massive role, and it makes sense, right?
Yes. And it's Sabine from the end of Rebels, so I think Ahsoka is gonna pick up right from where Rebels left off.
Right, and I think
Which-
right where Rebels the prologue or the prologue.
No, not the prologue.
It's not prologue, right? That's before
Prologue is before. That's what
Right.
the opening crawl is.
monologue.
No, a monologue is it is a monologue, but it's not what you think.
It's not. No, it's not. No, monologue is just dialogue.
Monologue is a long spurt of dialogue.
Dialogue.
Epilogue.
What? Epilogue. Why did I not know that?
Yeah. I gotta ask.
I think the epilogue of Rebels takes place after that Mandalorian episode with Ahsoka. I think I can definitely confirm that.
Yes, I think if we're gonna try and base the timeline down, I think it's gonna go Mando 1, Mando 2, the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and then it's gonna intersect with the finale or the end part or the epilogue of Rebels' finale. and then it's gonna go. So
and then wherever Skeleton Crew takes
yeah,
place around that time, right?
I think honestly, Skeleton Crew should take place probably around Mando season 2 time.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of inconsequential where it takes place in the timeline. We just know it's around.
Yeah, and honestly, if you're gonna introduce stuff around this 5 year, 6 year after Return of the Jedi, you have to assume people are gonna believe it's gonna be connected to the Mandalorian.
Right, I think it will be. I mean, Favreau and Filoni are executive producers. I'm sure they're helping with that
Yeah.
aspect, right?
Yes.
Watts wants to tell a story, but it'll tie in somehow. But like, I don't want to see like Mando with like 10-year-old kids. Just
No. Because you know what I honestly think? If let's this is my bold prediction for Skeleton Crew. I think we are gonna get the Mandalorian in there, and as the story progresses, I think Mando is gonna induct them to become Mandalorians.
that would be
And
really interesting. My thing is I want this to. I think they could become Grogu's friends. These kids.
mhm. I think one of them's gonna be force sensitive. At least one of them.
Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And I don't know about Jude Law's character.
He's got to be the antagonist. Jude Law's never a good guy. Like
Yeah, that
he
would.
wasn't the good guy in Captain
But
Marvel.
I also don't want him to, because I feel like we begin the same trope again. Bounty hunter takes on kids. Like I don't want him to be a bounty hunter. I kind of want him to have. I don't know.
I think he's
We'll see.
bad.
I am excited about that show because John Watts.
Why do
But
good
I
girls
want to talk about Tales of the
have
Jedi because this is a
guys?
project I'm super excited for.
I have a
But it
question for
just,
you. Is it in Clone Wars animation?
I believe so.
What it
Yes,
looks like.
I believe so. But it just proves that Dave Filoni could not create a project without
No,
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka. Again, that's why I'm telling you. Bad Batch is gonna have Ahsoka in it.
It's got to,
She
right?
she will be everywhere. She's the Wong of Star Wars.
Yeah, she's
And
everywhere.
like, does she
We don't
have
even need to
to?
call it a Star Wars anymore. It's just Ahsoka.
It's the Ahsoka Cinematic Universe.
It's the
The ACU. Oh
yeah.
God, no, no.
Um.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I'm
So
thinking.
3 of the episodes, I believe it's gonna
Three.
focus on Dooku and Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I'm way more excited about the Dooku stuff.
So much more excited. I'm sorry. I know I just said I want Ahsoka and Bad Batch, but I'm Ahsoka out. I want Ahsoka to wait until her show comes out to get
Now
her turned
listen,
back in the spotlight.
the Ahsoka stuff is cool. Like I'm excited to see her childhood life.
But raising my hand here, we already saw it. We already saw the flashbacks in Clone Wars to her being becoming a Jedi through.
And that's all you
Plo-Koon.
really needed, right?
I don't need to see her child. Now, yes, I am excited because they're going to be bringing Matt Lancer back to reprise his role as the Clone Wars Anakin to show
And
them
probably James Arnold
training.
Taylor, I would assume.
Yes,
With
and
Kenobi.
James Arnold Taylor. And so we're going to see them back, and I'm excited to see more training with Ahsoka. We get to see
Right.
more of their relationship building. So
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
But
But
I already had my whole childhood was that I watched.
I already had 7 seasons of that. Or 6.
And I'm also excited to see her get her white crystals because she fights the
Yep.
Inquisitor.
Because that was concept art. She fights an Inquisitor with no lightsaber.
But that's in a book.
Yeah, and I have a big worry they're going to change how that fight goes down. And
Definitely.
that
100%.
that fight is one of my favorite book fights of all time. She doesn't really fight him. She literally grabs the saber and then blows the saber up.
Yeah, she doesn't even bring anything to the fight. It's just herself, right? Correct?
Yeah, it's just she brings just her bare hands and she literally blows the lightsaber up.
Imagine being that bad.
Literally, bro. Again, what's crazy is the Inquisitors. They're shown to us in like Kenobi and Rebels. They're these menacing figures. They'll kill anybody. But when it comes to fighting Jedi, from what we've seen, from Cal Kestis to Obi-Wan Kenobi to Ezra to Kanan to Ahsoka, they are the biggest bitches ever. Like they don't stand a chance at all. Like
I think they'd have a problem if Leia was given a lightsaber, if I'm being honest with you.
especially Vivian Leia. Oh, that girl would just be like, "Oh yeah,
You want to see
run,
this?
chase me now."
Yeah.
Oh, again,
But
oh
I'm
my
way
God.
more excited for the Dooku stuff. I'm
Yes,
super excited
so
for
I'm
a young Qui-Gon too.
voiced by Liam Neeson, which we've had our adults voicing kids before with Kanan or Caleb Doom, and it didn't sound too good. But hey, I mean, come on, if
It's also
Liam,
his son's gonna do some of the voice too.
yes. Also, he's gonna have a mission with Mace Windu that we're gonna see.
Correct. So we're gonna see that relationship
But I
form.
but I think this confirms one thing. If Qui Gon or if Liam Neeson is coming back for Tales of the Jedi, he's coming back for Kenobi.
He's in it, Alex. We
Like
don't
this is
like
like this is
they don't.
beyond confirmation at this point. Like if he's
He's
coming
in
back
it.
for some one shot animated show, he's coming back for the live
I
action.
mean, he does the voice in Clone Wars in that Mortis arc, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So if he's gonna do it in some weird animated show, he's gonna do it.
Don't call it weird, because I think it's being slept on. It's gonna be good, bro.
I know. I think what
Um,
was that weird is that Tales of the Jedi definitely felt like it was going to be a High Republic show. And so it looked like, oh, nobody's going to even know what's going on unless you read the books. But no,
nah,
this is prequel stuff. Which, like, again,
right?
if you're going to ask me, did the prequels need another animated show? No.
No,
But I think this is just bonus content. We're getting the Acolyte most likely next year, so.
right. But I will say, the Dooku stuff I do find very interesting and very fascinating. To learn the story of Dooku, we don't know a lot about his fall, right? I mean, it's kind of just like when Mace talks about it, it's kind of described as almost a peaceful fall, if you were to say, like
Yeah.
in episode 2. I know I'm trying to plug my computer in here, so I'm sorry about that. Dooku, or Mace Windu was like, "Oh, that's no way Dooku would try to kill Padme."
Yeah,
Like
he's a he's a politician,
he's a
not a murderer.
politician, not a murderer. Um,
And he look, by all rights, he's right. He didn't try to kill Padme. Palpatine sent Dooku, who sent Jango, who sent Zam, who sent a droid, who sent bugs to kill Padme.
correct,
So he's
correct.
not
So
wrong,
he's not wrong, and
but he's not right either.
and also most of the time, he's the Count of Sereno. That's most like what he does most of the time. I'd be really curious to see that. Obviously, I mean, we see it a little bit in the trailer. Him becoming more violent, more aggressive.
Yeah. It's also
But
important
really,
to know that like his fall to the dark side was um it was not something that was all like over time. We got to remember, in an attempt to save Qui Gon, he uses Force lightning to kill a bunch of people,
right?
which again was a setup for when Rey uses it in the Rise of Skywalker.
Do you think we see that?
Yes, I think that mission with Qui Gon is going to be the mission that we see that what he does. Hold on, I need to go see if it's raining outside right now. Because if it is, this might my minutes might be limited. Give me 1 second.
Okay. All right. So to continue, um, I think we'll get one with Account and Qui Gon, and then we'll get one with Count, Qui Gon, and Mace, and we'll learn about young Mace's life, Mace and Count Dooku's relationship, and how it influences the
Oh,
prequels.
it's not raining. It's storming right now. It's
Okay.
a tropical storm right now. So my minutes might be limited.
So, and then the final Dooku episode will be him turning and him fighting Yaddle, like we see,
Yeah.
which
Or
would be very interesting.
I wonder how long these episodes are going to be. If you wanted my opinion, I would want at least 30-minute episodes.
I'm sorry, Alex. They're only like 15 to 20 minutes.
Did they
Yeah, they're
reveal that?
shorts. They're shorts. Yeah, they're
Oh
short.
my god.
I literally think this is gonna be a Visions type of thing where it's all released at once. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You know what? This is my new least favorite or most
Oh,
least anticipated thing because you know
oh,
what? It's over. What? What are you saying? Oh, about?
no, I was just like, oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me.
Yeah,
Sorry.
it's
Sorry.
Tales
Sorry.
of the Jedi is an anthology of original animated shorts.
Say how long? Because I hope they're not 15 minutes. Because I'd be so sad.
Because they showed the people the first episode and it was about 15 to 20 minutes.
Oh my gosh. I'm so confused by like their release cadence of if they're showing us basically finished products at Celebration, why are they not releasing earlier? Like, let me get this thing. Oh, someone asked a question.
Do you think Baby Yoda's origin slash birth might be in this because it takes place before his birth here in Yaddle's? That would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be because if you think about it, Grogu and Anakin are the same age,
Correct.
so who knows? Now, I'm not on the theory that Yoda and
Got down.
Yaddled in bed. Um, but who knows? I mean,
I
I
kind of
would.
like that he was just from Yoda's planet and he's just a
Yeah,
member of that species.
yeah,
Like, but I like the idea that they're just all force sensitive.
yeah. I would be okay with potentially seeing Grogu in this.
I'm fine with like it being just an Easter egg. Like you just see a
Yeah,
little like
like
Grogu walking around.
oh my god! Now that I just did that, somebody pointed this out on Twitter, and um, I could not stop laughing. If you rewatch the chase scene in Episode 2 with Leia and Obi-Wan, tell me when Leia is running, it does not look like she is waddling around like this. Whenever she's running, tell me it does not look like that. I know my cat is going off. She's sad right now. One of her babies is gone because she's at the vet. Oh
um,
well.
yeah. So do you got anything else? Visions. What I'm really
Vision.
excited about though is you still haven't watched season 1, have you?
No. Well, I don't have to because season 2's brand new stories.
Yeah, season 2 is not just going to be Japanese studios, but all over the
All
world,
over. I think
which I'm really
didn't France get an announcement for one or whatever?
France, South Africa. I'm really excited for that. Ireland, England. I'm really excited to see different cultures' perspectives on Star Wars. Japanese
Yeah.
was so unique, and obviously, samurai culture massively inspired Star Wars. But I'm really excited to see how South Africa views Star. Like that's what I love about
Yeah.
Visions. It's like you could be super expansive. You don't have to follow lore. It's just fun, neat stories that I really appreciate.
It's gonna be nice stories that I'm not gonna watch.
You're an awful human being. Sorry.
Sorry. I feel so bad. I was so excited for Visions and then never watched it. I watched the
Nope.
first episode.
Nope. Yeah. All right. Well, do you got anything else?
That's all.
Another launch show, man. Another launch show. I love
I
it, though. I love
know.
it.
It's crazy though, because you think we only have 4 topics, but Kenobi, man, it's Kenobi, we think about like with what Moon Knight, our discussions were probably what like 30, 40 minutes. With Kenobi, they're hour long.
Yeah, they're close to an hour. They're about. They were. This one was about 50 minutes, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's a testament though that like I think it's just obvious you and I like Star Wars much more than Marvel. And we can
Yes.
just
Well, no,
talk
it's not even that. But it's like the
no,
analogy.
and it's like we can just talk infinitely more about it because we know
It's the
more about
analogy I
it.
use all the time. Like Star Wars is like your first love. Like you will never stop talking about her, bro.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Marvel is the chick you hook up with. Like it's quick.
Yeah, Marvel's the stuff that like, hey yo, bro, when Star Wars is coming out, like I gotta be honest, you're kinda back here in the afterthought world.
Right. Right.
But now when it's just you, you're up here in the forefront. But like when Star Wars
Correct.
is out, you're maybe in the back of the brain if I'm having a good day.
Correct.
Which
So
it's so weird, by the way. Being in both Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and all this stuff. It's so weird how our brains can just trigger into talking about something like that.
and DC is way back there. It's like not
DC
even.
isn't even in my brain, bro. It's gone. Especially, bro. Have you seen the CW Gotham Knights trailer?
Isn't it horrible? I heard.
It's awful. I don't think I've ever cried so bad during a trailer because it was bad. I was baffled, to say the least.
Well, that's gonna do it for today's show. Thank you for watching episode 70. As always, go follow Alex on TikTok at Candy in My Van.
Maybe
We
I'll
gotta find
post.
we gotta
Maybe I
find
won't.
some content to post on our TikTok.
I
podcasting, but
know.
we
Every
haven't
time
done
I
question of the week because we've been so busy with topics and stuff.
yes, question of the week is really honestly it was a thing made because we were very topicless,
Right.
especially once we stopped talking about leaks. Um,
The Gotham Knights trailer is actually impressive. It's just so
it's so
bad.
bad.
Yeah.
Yes, best way to look at it, Rowan.
Yeah.
Go you. Because I agree. It's actually impressive how bad it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because oh yeah.
Yeah. Talked about Kenobi, talked about Miss Marvel, gave that a little preview. We'll be back next Wednesday for a Kenobi episode 4 review and a Miss Marvel episode 1 review. I'm correct on that? There's only one episode of Miss Marvel, right?
hmm
Okay.
They should just release it all in one binge. Let us binge watch the show. Poor Miss Marvel, bro.
All right.
Especially
So,
coming off of this episode of Kenobi. Poor Miss Marvel.
as always, may the force be with you, and may you stay burdened with glorious purpose. And remember, always have the high ground.